All right, thank you. So, because our time is really short, I have a structure around this.
Okay.
So, I'll just ask you a couple of questions. You can ask me your own questions, then I'll tell you my observations about you, and then the next steps. Okay. So, firstly, can you introduce yourself to me? Tell me about your past, your present, and what you're hoping to achieve in the near future. Let's say 2023, something like that.
Okay. My name is Anastasia Edusi. Okay, yes, I'm a product designer. I do UI UX designer too. So yes, I started. Let me start with school. So I started. I'm a graduate of the University of Benin, and I read crop science. But after school, I
Red
joined
what?
crop science,
Ah,
agriculture. Yes. So after school, no, during school, I started graphic design, like I think my third year in school, because I knew that the agri wasn't what I actually wanted to do, but Nigerian universities. So yes, my third year I tried a couple of things. I tried graphic design. I tried front end, but I think I enjoyed graphic design more. Yes, which I decided to do, but because of school, I was not very. I was not consistent with that. So after school, that's it. Yes, after school during my NYSC, I found out I discovered UI UX product design, and I figured that it wasn't very far from graphic design. Aside from also trying to bring products to life, like understanding it was so beautiful. So I decided to like learn. So I started to learn from there just immediately after school. I interned, and then yes, it's been good after then. So it's almost 2 years now that I have been doing that. And
okay.
I've been there. Sometimes it feels like I'm not growing. Sometimes I have to like push myself extra, because sometimes I feel like you should be better than this, you should do more. And sometimes distractions too, because you see things and you want to do it, and you're like, okay, would you focus on this one and like get to do it, get to be good at it. So yes, it has
Hmm.
been very good. Then I saw your currently a UI UX designer at Infree Branches Technology. Yes.
Okay.
So they're like a fintech company that helps. They have a POS service. They offer financial services too, and also solar power and all like sale and yes, distribution of that. So yes, that's what I did. And so I have been following you for a while, and I also
Oh,
joined the UX 101 class in January.
interesting.
Yes,
Interesting.
it was actually really nice. So when I just that day I just came on LinkedIn and I saw it, I was like, no, I had to sign up for this. And this was and
Wow.
yes,
So how was it? How was the course?
it was actually so beautiful. But the thing is that okay, at the time, I think I was just done with yes, I was trying to figure out that was the period I was job searching. I was done with NYC at the time. So I it actually helped me because yes, I learned new things. I understood. I don't think I completed the whole thing, but I joined yes, for most of the classes. So most of the time, either I was not in around like the last class, or yes, I was not around where I could listen or concentrate. Saw your baby a few times too when you were having it. But
Okay. I'm
yeah,
actually praying and hoping she doesn't make an appearance in this my session. Okay.
so yeah, that's that's it basically.
Wow. Okay, cool. So would you call yourself a junior or mid or senior designer?
Hmm. I call myself a little above junior because I don't want to call myself a senior at all.
Okay, so a mid.
Yes, let's say mid.
Okay, I've noted that down. Do you have your CV and portfolio here? A link to them?
I can I share? Should I share it in the chat?
Yes, please share the link to in the chat. Yes, please.
Let me.
Okay.
So right now I still use my Behance as my portfolio.
All right, that's fine. Just send me the link. In the meantime, you say you've been applying for jobs. So what kind of jobs have you been applying to new jobs recently?
Yes, actually, it's I've been applying to new jobs, and the rejection keep coming. So yes, it's not been a very um, interesting experience, but
What kind of jobs have you been applying for?
mm, product design, UI,
No,
UX,
what kind of
mostly.
companies? Okay, so what kind of
Okay, okay.
companies? Yeah.
So mostly fintech, not far from it, normal consumer products, like not may not be not Web3. I know that I have actually not applied to Web3 products. No, I know that because I am trying to understand the whole Web3 thing so that I will not just get into it and get confused.
Okay. Let me say a quick one before I forget that thought. So you can apply to cryptocurrency, or I don't know what's the weirdest. I don't know what's the strangest concept right now. Something you've not maybe okay. I'll assume maybe you've not heard or learned about blockchain technology. You can work in any industry. Yeah. So you can work in any industry as a product designer. What I think I love most about product design is its diversity. The fact that the work we do is not just peculiar to one field or the other field. It's not like, oh, because I'm working in fintech for the past 5 years, so now I can't work in what other fields? Security or traditional banking or something. So you can actually work in any field in as much as you understand the principles of UX design, if you have the experience of running um, projects, basically. So just wanted to quickly say that. But okay, so let me glance through your portfolio. But while I'm looking through it, um, you say you've been getting rejections. What kind of rejections? Have you been called for interviews? Any interview at all, or you've not gotten any interview invites, or is it after an interview invite to get rejection? What has been going on with that?
Okay, so let me start from when I was searching in January. I'm not talking about the recent one, because recently I just started like trying
Okay.
to apply, and most of the jobs that I have applied to recently are mostly international jobs. But previously, when I started in March, yes, I applied to jobs to mostly Nigerian companies, and I got called, and I got some. Aside from the rejections, were not as much as because I got called. I attended the interviews for most of them, so I decided to like choose the one I would eventually. There are some I had to even turn down after I already got one I was working on. So yes, but recently I said let me try applying to international jobs, and it has not been the easiest.
Okay. Um, okay, I'll comment on that. So what are you looking forward to achieving, let's say in 2023?
Okay, so I actually want to, because lately I have been feeling like I should do better. I can like sometimes it gets, I don't know, I guess I don't know how to put it, but sometimes I want to, I feel like when I'm designing, it almost kind of looks the same. I want like a new idea, inspiration, yeah, so that I can, yes, get better at the whole process, like understanding it better. If it's even if it's to learn more how to use more applications, just to get like more understanding on the whole product design
Okay.
career, like yeah, to
So
understand better.
okay, so you mean for your portfolio for case studies?
Yes, for case studies, inspiration, how to just be better at it.
Okay, which part of UX design would you say you enjoy the most?
UX design. It will be. I think when making research. But sometimes I feel like the researches are not in depth. It's interesting, but sometimes I feel like they are not, this is not giving me what I want. So it's kind of limiting the ideas that I am getting. Because I remember getting an invite for um, an interview on LinkedIn with an international company. But the research, they gave me a very good feedback after doing the test that they asked me to do. They said the research was not, it's not like it was not done thoroughly. And I knew that that was, but when I actually looked at it, number one, I figured that, oh, I did not do that much research on the case study I was given, and I did not even have enough time, because then I was doing a job that I had to go every day and come back. But I figured that if I probably maybe had done a better research, it would have been better off for me.
Okay, cool. That's fine. So I have glanced through your portfolio, and first thing I noticed is that there's a lot of typographical error in your portfolio, which
Okay.
is not good. At least in the first one I looked at, that was True Friends. So I looked at that one and I saw a bit of that graph query. So like after full stop, there's no space. All those kind of things for me irks me, especially if I am reviewing people's portfolios. Like for instance, on that role, you said user researcher, but researcher is spelled wrong. Some places after comma, there's no space. What else? Like there's just a lot of those. I saw them across the whole that particular one. Um,
Okay.
then I also noticed that there are some things that, like for that particular project now, some things do not really need to be there. Like that
Okay.
in where you drew like a timeline, day 1 to 10 of how you did the project. It's not necessary. It's just one of those
Okay.
things I call fluff. When I see people's portfolio, just stuff that used to fill up the space, but it's not really necessary. It
Okay.
doesn't really tell the reader of your portfolio anything valuable about you or about the project. You've already said it's 10
Okay.
days, so um, then also the place you mentioned design process and you research, define, ideas, prototype test. That's another thing I see in people's portfolio and I say it's not necessary. How else would you have done the project if it's not that way? I mean, how else will you do the UX project? So let's see. Then problem statement. So I read, okay, so the first thing I read was about project. So when I read about project, I'm like, okay, this does not tell me anything really about this project. Then I then scroll down, I saw problem statement. So I think both of them should be merged into one as a problem
Okay.
statement. So you can tell us what the problem exactly is. You shouldn't, okay, so this your problem statement is not really a problem statement, the way you phrased it. The way you framed it, you've only said what the solution is. Yeah, you've talked about the solution. You're aimed at helping the French selection producers, but also give you an idea about anyone you're meeting for the first time. So you need to talk about the problem. What is the point of this project? Why did you choose this project? Why are you working on this? What was the motivation of this project? So that needs to be like the problem first, then you can now talk about the solution. Like or your proposed solution. So you should actually state it as a proposed solution. So the way a case study is basically walking the reader through your thought process from the beginning of the project to the end of the project. So that means when I'm reading your case study, it's like you are telling me what was going on per time. So the language and the framing of everything should follow that pattern. Yeah. Also, when you are doing your portfolio, and this applies to CV as well, when you're doing it, think of your portfolio or your CV as if it's a product that you are designing or that you are creating. What I mean by that is when you're doing a project in product design, you would think about the user, you put yourself in the shoes of the user and all of that. Here, your potential user is the hiring manager. that is going to read through it. So you should put yourself in the shoes of that person. If I was the hiring manager, what's most important to me? Would I actually choose this portfolio over other portfolios? Remember that when they are reviewing your portfolio, it's not just you, it's hundreds or even thousands of other people. So those are things for you to think about when you are creating your case study and even your portfolio entirely. Yeah, so I would just use true friends as an example for other ones. So I would say that also, lastly, I noticed that your like you've mentioned, actually, the research seems not to be have been in depth for this project, which is very important. Even though you might have carried out enough research, but if you're not documenting it properly, that's not good enough. So under your research, some things that must be there is what type of research do you want to carry out? Is it survey? Is it interview? Whatever type, you need to clearly write it. Then what are your goals? What exactly do you want to find out? So you need to state out what you need to find, what you want to find out before you carry out the research. Then after you've done the research, then you report. So there's research plan and then there's research report. So you need to document like, okay, what are the things I want to find out? Maybe like in bullet points, maybe 3 or 4 things. You try to write it in a non-leading question kind of way. I'm sure you know what non-leading questions mean. Then also, you need to document, okay, how many participants am I going to talk to? Where will I find these people? What way am I going to, if it's interviewer, what way am I going to interview them? Is it going to be remote? Is it going to be phone calls or will it be like face-to-face? Things like that. Why am I choosing a certain type? So these are the kind of things that are very important to a product design hiring manager. They want to know the reasons behind your decision, not just what you've done, not just that it looks good, but why did you do something? Then after you've done the research, there needs to be like an analysis of the data. So I can see your screenshot of the survey, like survey insight, but that does not tell anything really. They're just pictures. So I can see 53.8% people say no to your question of have you had any friends based on what experience, what someone else has to say about a person. Do you have any friends who, and I've also noticed that in most of the questions are yes, no questions, which are not very good research questions. You need to ask more open-ended questions, except if you're only interested in numbers. So it depends, which is why I said you need to document your research goals. Are you trying to find out, are you trying to validate the problem by knowing how many people are having such problem? If yes, then it's valid, it's fine. But if you're trying to find out if you're trying to find out maybe the specifics of the kind of problem people are having, their experiences around making friends, for instance, then you might need more open-ended questions. And survey may not be the best approach, might be more interviews because people are not usually patient enough to sit down and be writing genuine story in service. Yeah, so after even doing the survey, let's even assume this survey was really okay, then you need to be able to document like the result of your research. Well, you actually, I can see you wrote problems making friend making it so stressful, trying to connect with new people without a prior knowledge of them. So you see, that's another typographical error.
Oh my God, I would say that that project was actually rushed. And someone asked me, yes. So I know that I did not make thorough.
So
Yes.
if you know that already, then that kind of project should not make its way to your portfolio. And I say that because you don't know which project the hiring manager is going to click on and judge you based on. They're not going to read one portfolio and read one case study and then another before they decide on, they will most likely just pick one at random out of your portfolio and choose. So because that is the case, then you can't afford to have any low quality projects in your portfolio. If it's only 2 projects you have in your portfolio, let them be very high quality projects. That's the thing. So if you need to review like some of your case studies, review them, upgrade them. If you need to yank them completely off, remove them. Don't be sentimental about it. If it remains only one, just know that, okay, it's only one I have. If you don't even have any, know that you don't have any high quality project and you need to start over. So that's the best way. Again, think as if you are the hiring manager. That's just the key to creating a quality portfolio. So your CV, you sent me a document. I won't be able to open that. I'm not downloading any documents. So if it was a link, I could have opened it. But based on what I have seen in the past and based on what I've seen in your portfolio as well, I would say, again, think as if you're the hiring manager or even the first level recruiter, the first person that will see your project, your whole application. Think as if you're the person. What is that person interested in? Most likely interested in the project you've worked on, not your education. So if you're someone that I see that a lot, and people put their education somewhere in the top, nobody cares. So your projects and then listing maybe bullet pointing things about about each project rather than writing as lengthy text. And then when you're bullet pointing it, use writing more from the point of view of impact rather than just responsibility. Don't just say, oh, I did UX research or oh, I did this. She's more from an impact point of view. What did you do? You collaborated with other case studies to achieve blah, blah, blah. Something like that. So she's more of yes, your responsibility, but also the impact it had. So that's that about that. What I have been, by the way, before I continue, do you have any questions?
I think you answered most of my questions from trying to explain to me. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so what I've been trying to do is more of diagnosis. I'm trying to do like a doctor, trying to see um how your past and your present kind of would relate or link to your future that you want. You want from what I've been able to deduce, you want a foreign job, international job, like the ones you've been applying for and you've not be getting favorable feedback. Or no, am I wrong?
Yeah, I want to obviously want a good job, but want to get better. I think if I can get better at what I do, I should be able to work.
Okay, if it's to get better, getting better is there are different aspects to that. One of which is what I have said about your portfolio, right?
Yeah.
Paying attention to details, typographical errors be gone. Because I, for one, if I see such typographical errors in anybody's portfolio, I will just put it aside. I won't be able to focus enough on the value the person can bring to the team. I'll just make the conclusion that this person doesn't pay attention to details. So that's just the conclusion. And I can imagine a lot of people are like me. I don't think I'm unique in that way. So, getting better also has to do with a lot of practice. Practice not necessarily just Figma design, and I think that's where a lot of people miss it. But practice at spotting problems and preferring solutions. For instance, you could go into maybe an event and you notice the seating arrangement is wrong. That's a problem and preferring a solution to that, starting from taking pictures of it, documenting it, maybe coming up with a better sitting arrangement, taking a video. You have already created a UX case study. You'll be shocked that that is a problem you've solved. Okay, maybe the fact that in your office having to getting food is a problem. Like, I mean, maybe in the middle of the day. I know I had that problem years ago. Maybe getting food. So your case study could circle around you even finding out whether it's a problem for other people. So you might say you want to do a bit of a survey to just ask people at random, oh, is it a problem for you to get food? Yes, no, just to validate. You document all that. And then up until the point of, okay, what could be preferred solution? Maybe some ideas of solution. You document it. That's ideation already you are doing. Okay, based on the ideas, which of it is most likely the best idea? Maybe you do another survey or you do an interview with a couple of people. What do you think? What will solve your problem? What do you want? You can document that. All these things just documentation, really. When you do that, just past stage, as you are doing it, be documenting. Don't wait. This is another problem, right? Many people wait to the end of the project before they document their case study. That's where you would not remember a lot of important things. But as you are doing it, it might just be a Google Keep or a note on your phone. You're just documenting, okay, I did this, just something to remember, or do a voice note here and there. Later on, you can listen to yourself on your thought process. Just document it in some way. That's just how to get better. How to get better is a bogus statement, right? Because there's a lot of things that comes together to getting better. Like you need to do certain different things. Yeah. Then also you need to be able to know how to prepare for interviews and things like that too. So, but then let me back up a bit. So, like I said, I'm trying to diagnose and also see if I can help you, because I know it's not everybody I can help. This today's session is one of several sessions. In January, I'm having 4 sessions and 4 other sessions, and they would be focused on getting a job. Really, it won't be about teaching you basics of product design or things like that, or teaching how to use Figma. None of that. It would be I'll focused on what platforms should you be on to get a job? How can you optimize your LinkedIn profile? Because LinkedIn is really, really like, is really one of the most important profiles you can even have, and make it optimize in a certain way to be attractive to recruiters, because in my experience I've noticed that many recruiters now do more headhunting and waiting for the results of vacancy they put out there. They would rather just slide into people's DMs and just tell them, oh, I'm interested, we have this role, are you interested? And they do that a lot. So the other thing we'll be doing is helping you to review your CV, cleaning it up if need be. The same thing for portfolio as well. Your cover letter. Okay, so I didn't ask you, have you been using cover letters to apply for your roles?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Well, I think the only time I use them, sorry to cut you, the only time I use them is when they are requested.
Okay, so cover letter should be used all the time, requested or not requested. Even if there's no space in the application for cover letter, you will find a way to deliver your cover letter to the recruiter. You will dig out their contact details and send your own cover letter to them. You have to be very tenacious in this job hunting process. You will find them LinkedIn or email, or you just look for them. And those are some things I would actually be showing you guys in the session. By the way, it's going to be a group session, a very small group between 5 to 10 people. And yeah, cover letter, like I said, then mock interviews. But this one is very dependent on how proactive you are. If you're already preparing for job interviews, and or you've been applying for jobs and you're expecting some interviews, we can do some mock interviews. And then lastly, specializations in UX design. So I usually ask that question of, what part of UX design do you like most? Because it's actually quite important for you to have a part of UX design that you enjoy the most, that is more like your anchor. And the reason is because the journey is going to get tough. Or when the journey gets tough, which it will, you need to be able to have something that you're like, oh, I'm still here because I really enjoy research. I really enjoy helping people through research. I really enjoy UI designs, or blah, blah, whatever it is. So it kind of helps. And also it helps to be able to show your light more during interviews, but also when you resume a particular role, it will be easier for you to find your bearing. Yeah, so those are the things that we'll be doing during the coaching session. I call it a transformational coaching session. And it's not going to be free. It's going to be a paid session. It's going to cost £100. I'm not sure what that is in Naira right now. Probably 80 something, 90 something. I don't know. But it's £100. And like I said, it's going to be running for 4 weeks, most likely starting first week in January, but either first or second week in January. Today's date is already 19, and I just realized that today is already 19. I didn't know that this year has gone that much. I say that because
Hello?
I put a deadline for payment, and I think the deadline is somewhere around Christmas, and Christmas is on Sunday. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, so so I think the deadline is maybe 24th. I can't remember. But the reason there's a deadline is because like I said, this session is not going to be about teaching you basics of product design. It's more about just getting a job, coaching you towards getting roles, being prepared for roles. So because of that, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, Anastasia, are you there? Can you hear me? I cannot hear you anymore. Okay. Okay, so Anastasia can't hear me anymore. So I will just wrap this up and bye.